Halloween is coming at the end of this month, so let's get spooky and talk about the top 5 things in the spiritual world that are associated to Feng Shui. If you're new to this channel, my name is Tony Lau. I'm a Feng Shui professional with over 2 decades of experience. So let's start with gravesite. These are the burial ground of a deceased or a loved one. Did you know the Feng Shui of a gravesite can also affect the descendants? This applies to parents, grandparents, or great-grandparents, and so on. Could be several generations before. If the gravesite is disturbed, all of the descendants could be affected. The gravesite or any ancestors occupy a space which is considered to be a home for them. Homes that we, the living, occupies are called yang homes, while the dead occupy the yin homes. Yin and yang are polar opposite. So as with every home, Feng Shui involved. Now the good and bad from the yin home get passed down to the descendant for generations. When the location is great, the entire family can experience blessing from their ancestor in form of great wealth, great health, great relationship. However, when the location is poor, the family will often run into bad times like financial struggle, bad health, anything that's bad you can think of. Now, what contributes to the good and bad of a yin home is similar to a yang home. The surrounding matter, whether there's mountain, river, or roads, are they good, are they bad? The location of the cemetery plays a large part in it. Is it on the outskirts of town or in the middle of a city? Is it a good location or is it a bad location? The facing direction is another factor. Is the home facing a good direction? You can measure that by the gravestone. There's not much you can do about an existing gravesite location other than to relocate it to another gravesite or another cemetery to a better location. History has proven that gravesite matter to the leaders of a country, or whenever a royal family tomb is desecrated, it can impact the longevity of a nation, which is why they're sometimes hidden or well guarded. The same can apply to affluent family in the modern days. Fortunately, if your deceased close relative had been cremated, then you wouldn't have to worry about anything about the gravesite. Essentially, the body transformed into a decorative item that can be placed anywhere, even your home. Just don't place them anywhere that's negative in your home, or you may get a visit from them at night. Now, since we're on this subject, I want to address some common stereotype with graveyard Feng Shui. I know some people go as far as claiming that living by a graveyard will slowly kill you off. Those are just wild, baseless claims. Now take a step back and think about it. A grave site is where the energy of the deceased lay to rest. I think people are mixing it up with the aftermath of a battlefield. Totally different story here. In Feng Shui, we believe that the energy of a place affects the energy of those who reside nearby. Historically speaking, many of the deceased tend to bury with loads of wealth and treasure in ancient China. So graveyard is actually a symbol of wealth in Feng Shui, similar to a bank where they store money there, rather than a haunted location which many led to believe. So congratulations is in order if your home directly faces a graveyard. You are blessed with an enormous amount of wealth. Now what about ghosts? Are they real? Seeing is believing, right? Now depending on your religious belief, they can be called different things. Now ghosts is not my specialty. I don't offer exorcism as one of my service. I do know professionals back in Asia that are in this field of work. Now in my profession, I get to visit many different houses. So I guess I know a thing or two. So just like in the movie, ghosts never haunt apartments, only houses. So you live in an apartment, you're safe. Now if you want my client, I probably came to your house with this low pen device or the smaller travel version if I have to fly to your place. This also works with a metal compass as well. So one thing I look for in this device is whether the needle spins uncontrollably inside a home. If I enter your home, it starts spinning like crazy, there's a high chance that your home is haunted. I may ask you to step outside and explain to you outside the home. Generally, at this point, if you haven't done anything wrong in your lifetime, the ghost will most likely leave you alone. If you have done some stuff in the past, you may want to consider moving or hire a specialized spiritualist. This is where your karma is tested. However, if you're a visitor like me and worry about anything that will follow you home, consider taking a hot shower with sage leaves. This works for me every time, and I have visited countless homes. Some are bound to be haunted, but I will yield this topic to a specialized spiritualist. Now let's talk about something less controversial. Feng Shui objects that might be haunted. So items such as bells and wind chimes should be avoided. I have to apologize to some of my clients in my younger years, since I have previously recommended wind chimes as a metal object to improve health. I have since learned my lesson through the hard way. So long story short, I placed them at one of my previous homes to improve health near the front door sector. And one time I had a guest over who's also a well-known spiritualist in Asia. She told me that my house attracted a lot of ghosts for no reason. Not only the wind chime can often attract ghosts to your home, if you open the door and the wind chime rings at the same time, it will act as a welcoming permission for any ghostly guests hanging outside to enter your home. Since then, I had moved, and I never recommended any wind chimes or bells to any one of my clients. If you have any bells or wind chime outside your home, I suggest you removing them, unless you don't mind any unwelcome ghostly guests living inside your own home. Now we talked about a lot of negative things so far, but how do we protect ourselves? Since we're on the topic of Feng Shui object, let's talk about ways that we can protect ourselves from negative energy. Starting from the external negative energy that are coming from the outside world or around your home. Now we already established that the graveyard is not one of them, but what will cause sickness externally? Funerals homes will. If there's one near where you live, that's bad. The reason why they're entirely different because it's a temporary location for the recently deceased. It's often a place where grieving family and friends gathers. Similar to hospital, don't live anywhere near one. It should be pretty self-explanatory when I mention hospital. It's a common occasion for the sick and the old passing away. I mean, just ask any doctors. That's probably the least favorite part about their job. So what if you live right by a funeral home or a hospital? You can't just move today. The quick solution is to put a mini coffin by the window that is facing the funeral home or the hospital. This will translate that ghostly energy into wealth for you in the short term. Long term, I would still consider moving as the permanent solution. Another external threat is dead tree. These are getting more common these days in places like California or Australia after like forest fire. If they are notably visible around your home, they will negatively impact your health. Another thing is sharp rocks in the mountain. These are another natural threat. It will increase the crime in the area. Well, this video is going to be an hour long if I keep naming stuff. The general rule is to use plants to block off the negative energy, either by placing around the home or by windows inside the home. That's the safest option. A more dangerous option involves like mirror or bagua mirror, but these items could backfire if you place them inappropriately. So check with a Feng Shui professional before you do anything reckless. So let's move on to internal threat. What are some negativity that are created within your home? Cluttered space is definitely on top of the list. Not only does it attract negative energy to your home, it can also bring in ghostly energy straight into your home as well. These can greatly impact our health and translate to a loss of wealth over time. There's your perk to keep your home clean. Don't let a messy home spiral out of control. And remember, mirrors and clock are another taboo. I'm not saying you shouldn't have them around the home. Just avoid pointing them at any entryway or doorway. Especially avoid the native sector. Check with a Feng Shui professional. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing. Also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I post a video. And also check out this video recommended by the YouTube algorithm. Stay safe and have a happy Halloween.